Welcome, everyone. I now call to order this work session of the Anchorage Assembly regarding MOA legislative program. It is Friday, February 3, 2023, where notices are scheduled from 2:10 to 3:10 p.m. today, and we are starting late. Apologies for that. It's about 2:20 p.m. The presentation for this work session is available online at muni.org/worksessions. And we will go ahead and start with Assembly member introductions for the record.
Pete Peterson.
Joey Sweet.
Daniel Volland.
Meg Zolotow.
Kevin Cross. Felix Rivera.
Suzanne LaFrance. And on the phone, we have Ms. Dern.
Ms. Dern.
Thank you. Ms. Quinn Davidson.
Hi, good afternoon.
Thank you. And Mr. Soltz.
Here.
Thank you. And also joining us at the table today are
Wendy Chamberlain with Legislative Consultants.
Kent Kohlhaas.
Claire Ross, Legislative Liaison.
Dean Gates, Assembly Council.
Barbara Jones, Municipal Clerk.
Great, thank you. Welcome, everyone. And I will be turning the meeting over to Ms. Chamberlain. I just want to remind folks to please make sure your microphones are off, that the red light is showing when you're not speaking. Otherwise, we get an echo for the folks online and some interference as well. So with that, thank you, Ms. Chamberlain, for being here, and I'm looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here. A little bit of background for some of you who are not familiar with me and our firm. Our firm is Legislative Consultants. We've been the municipalities lobbyist starting back with George Worse, and then we did Mark Begich, and we've done Mayor Sullivan, and we did 5 of the 6 years with Mayor Berkowitz, and now we're here today with another mayor. So we are very familiar with a lot of the projects, the roads. We had years of building roads and infrastructure and ports, and we've spent a lot of time on Anchorage projects over the years. So that's our background. We have full-time offices in Juneau. You'll see when you come down, conference rooms, secretaries, we have everything down there. I have a full-time partner, Heather Breaks. Heather worked for Sean Parnell and came into our firm 7 years ago. And then we have full-time support staff down there too. And the best part about where we are, if you ever come to Juneau, we're right next door to the Capitol, and we have parking. And as most of you know, that's a prize thing in Juneau. You can't park downtown. I know you're probably bored with presentations on slide decks, so this one's short and sweet, but it'll give you a real quick idea where we stand money-wise in Juneau. So as we came along, we look at the current year, and the reason that I go to the current year is because this time last year, the legislature was awash in money. Oil prices were high, trading at over $102 a barrel. We had a significant spike, and so we were able to spend money, or the legislature was, and we did put some into savings. So the big ones were the legislature, and when I say last session, I mean this current budget year, put $1.2 billion in forward fund education. They put $1 billion in the SBR, which the governor vetoed, and it dropped back to the CBR. They spent $921 million on capital, $2.1 billion for the PFD, and that was the PFD and the energy relief check. So it all went into one. And then what we call statewide services, statewide items, and that was our back payment of school bond debt, which the municipality picked up $90 million in that. And then, of course, our very favorite was the Port of Alaska, which we managed to pick up $200 million for that. We're feeling really good, and then oil prices tanked, and we come in to this session in a deficit for the current year. So our revenue forecast is $1 billion less for the current year. So we say, okay, we've got to fill $1 billion for the year we're in, and then we're going to look at what we've got for the next year's budget we're doing. How do we fill the $1 billion? what the legislature did was take the forward funding of education. And when I say forward funding, it's an education account they put it into. I guess legally we're not allowed to commit new legislators to forward funds. So they put it in the education account, hoping to have that off the table for this session. It's back on the table again, education. So they took that billion and that pretty much balanced this year's budget. Then we look to next year, the year we're working on and hoping to get money for. Alaska's current budget, if we look at it, and there's some increases in it, I think 1.3% in the budget for operating. There's some increases throughout, nothing significant. We balance at $86 a barrel. Department of Revenue today estimates oil for 2024 at $81 a barrel. So then you say, okay, once again, we're in deficit spend. It isn't too bad. When I say that, it'll start to make sense in a minute. We estimate to be 320 million deficit spend with the current budget, right? However, that includes the governor fully funded the PFD at $3,800. So that's in there. Agency operations are up 1.5, and it's got 100 million placeholder for a supplemental, which they're going to need. It's obvious they're definitely going to need that. So then we're going down and we say, how did we fill the 322 million for next year? How did the governor fill that? He took some ARPA revenue replacement. He took some more K through K-12 education. I think there's 50 million left in that fund when there was $1 billion too. He did some draw from the SBR, statutory budget reserve, and he took some from the CBR. Remember, the CBR is something they don't like to go to because they need a 3/4 vote, and that makes it real tough to get. That's when I think Pete's over there nodding, that's when the hard negotiation starts. So at all costs, they try and leave that CBR alone, but as you'll see, they've already had to go to it. I think I've only got 2 more slides, so just bear with me. So what's happening today? Well, there's the PFD, as you all know, is if we could solve that, everyone's life would be so much easier. So now they're looking at what's current policy and what's statutory authority. The governor stays with the statutory requirement, which is the 3,800. However, what they're saying current policy is a 50-50 PFD, and that would be $2,700. If they add an energy amount to bring it up, it could be $3,300 a resident. Now, remember, the governor's 38, so we're already down to 33. 2 of the finance chairmen last week said they'd be comfortable with 1,300. So if you do that, there's $1 billion, $1.5 billion, $2 billion.